What YouTube, man? It's your boy Houdini Magic coming to y'all again today with another preview and prediction video, man. And in this video, man, we got the BYU Cougars versus the Kansas State Wildcats, man. These are two teams that have started the year phenomenal. BYU right now is 3-0 to start the year, and Kansas State right now is 3-0 to start the year. Both of these teams have yet to lose. Both of these teams have, been handling business. Kansas State handled a couple good teams, man. They beat Arizona. I thought Arizona had a chance in that game, but man, Kansas State absolutely dominated them, man. That Kansas State defense came to play. And then we got BYU. They beat Wyoming 34-14, SMU and SIU. They barely beat SMU though. Um, that was a very close game. They only won by 3 points. So look, both of these teams are on the right trajectory or are looking like they're on the same trajectory. I'm pretty sure BYU, they're gonna try to come out and and come out and really ball out. I'm gonna be honest with you. They feeling like they gotta get it done this week. Kansas State 3-0, they number 13 in the country, almost top 10. BYU not even ranked. They like we 3-0, we ain't ranked. So this is their perfect opportunity. So what we about to do is we about to dig into these statistics, dig into these stats, discuss these teams, discuss where they weak at, and then I'm gonna give y'all my final prediction, man. We're gonna start with BYU. Now we're gonna check out this last game. They played a Wyoming team. You feel me? Wyoming is absolutely terrible this year. They have not won a game at all. So we definitely need to see what happened in this game. See the stats, because this is versus a terrible opponent, man. For team stats, BYU was terrible on third down, and they got forced to 11 total third downs. That's over 10 third downs they were forced to try to convert. Versus Kansas State, man, that's already not going to be looking good. You know what I mean? Because Kansas State, man, they're a good defense on third down, man. And that defense is really, really good at Kansas State. They were able to shut down the Arizona offense that was one of the most explosive offense in the whole college football. You know what I mean? But they were 2 of 11 in third down. So Wyoming was able to force 11 third downs. They actually forced 3 fourth downs, but BYU converted all their fourth downs. So BYU is last game was a great fourth down team. So they have over 458 total yards, 318 passing, 25 of 39 at an 8.2 clip. I'm not gonna say that's elite, but that's above average. You know what I mean? Above average. Interceptions thrown, they throw one pick, 140 yards rushing at a 5 attempt. I would want to see that get better, but we definitely gonna dig into the stats to see what's going on there. They had 9 penalties, 80 yards. So yeah, man, if they do this same performance versus Kansas State, they will lose. I ain't gonna lie. They have to play better this week. They just have to. In this specific game, we had Jack Wislaff. He came out, man. He was actually balling. 22 of 36, 291, 8.1 average. Above average QB play. You know what I mean? Not elite, not right under elite, just average. Above, below average elite. That's where they at. The third tier of elite. That's where he is playing at. We got Gary Bowen, 3 of 3, 27 yards. Rushing, the quarterback led in rushing. Pozuko Hangwa, running back. He had 5 carries, 35 yards. Then we got Cinemoa. He came out. Um, he ain't really giving no good production. He had 6 carries, 17 yards, 2.8. As a running back room, they just average. They were average rushing the ball. They wasn't terrible, like I'll say under 5 is terrible. I say 5 is where it start to average. That's like average rushing right there. Like it's just good enough, but not really good for real. So that's where y'all was at rushing. In the air, man, y'all got a lot of production out of this secondary, man. Chase Roberts, wide receiver, he came to ball. 6 catches, 129 yards, 21.5 average. He was balling, bro. Canoe Hill, three catches, 36 yards. So they got a lot of production out of this receiving room. That's one thing BYU can do. They had 318 yards in the air, 12.7 average. They had 3 touchdowns. Boom, man. We had tackles. BYU's defense, Raider Damune, he came to play. As a unit, they had 33 tackles, 1 sack, 4 tackles for loss, 5 pass deflections. So that defense was out there balling, I would say. That defense played really good. 5 pass deflections, 4 tackles for loss. So look, man, had 1 pick. Even Johnson, he came in with a pick. And y'all had 2 kickoff returns, and y'all had a kickoff return for a TD. Marion, man, he came out, man. He got a and took it 100 on him. That's crazy. BYU punt returners, kicking, punting, Sam Vidar Har. So look, man, look. This is what I'm saying about all of this, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. 12.7 average. It seemed like BYU is a good throwing team. That's their bread and butter, and they're a not so good rushing team. Their defense seemed like they out there making a lot of plays and out there getting a lot of tackles for loss. So that's the strength of BYU. Um, but that was one game. That was the last game they played. But so they improved from this SMU game. This SMU game, they probably felt like they played under expectations, and they probably should have lost this game. On third down, they got forced to 13 third downs versus SMU. That's one thing I'm seeing with this team. They get forced to third down a lot. They're not getting a lot of first downs on first and second down. So, and they have not been good converting third downs. On fourth down, they have been pretty good converting fourth downs, though. That's kind of weird. Y'all could convert third downs, but y'all not so good converting fourth downs. Total yards, 336 total yards, 202 through the air at a 7-point average. The next game they threw at an 8, so they threw better in the next game. Interceptions thrown was 2, 134 yards rushing, 3.8. So they improved their rushing. That's why I said 3.8 is not good. That's not good yards per rush. In the next game, they ran for like 5 yards per rush. So they definitely made some improvement from game to game. 5 penalties, 45 yards, 7 for 69, 3 turnovers total. I think they threw less turnovers in the last game. Um, on the box score, their quarterback ain't played great. Jake Raslav, he played pretty trash. 15 to 28, 202, 7.2 average, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 29-7. So he definitely had to play better that next game. We had Miles Davis, 3 carries, 37 yards. Jake Rastav, he gonna come. He carrying the ball. He a dual threat quarterback. BYU's wide receivers had a 13.5 average. They getting a lot of production out this wide receiver room. Like, I'm not saying this is one of the most productive wide receiver rooms so far, but I'm gonna be honest with you. It's looking like they are very productive in this wide receiver room. I think they all out there, they definitely out there making plays, bro. They able to play on the perimeter a little bit. That's one thing I'm seeing with BYU. The receiver room is very underrated. No lie. BYU fumbles. We got Harrison Taggart. He came today as a defense. Man, this defense is really good. 8 tackles for loss, 5 pass deflections, 3 sacks. They play absolutely incredible. That's probably why they won this game, their defense. And this Keelan Martin, dude, one of the best kickoff returners in the whole nation, bro. One of the best kickoff returners in the whole nation. He took one back 100, but the week before, he had 3 of them for 53 with a long of 24. He's about to take one back again. So, man, he's a good pump. He's a good kickoff returner, bro. Good kickoff returner. Man, they need to start getting him more touches in the offense, especially to help out this rushing department. He should at least be getting a couple. Oh, I see they try to get him a touch. But man, only try to get him 1 touch? 1 touch for Keelan Marion? Bro, they need to give him some more touches, bro. Period, point blank. Their defense played incredible, bro. Quarterbacks only threw for 4.0 average. Rushing only 3.3. Receiving held them under 10. So they held them a little bit above average. A little bit of they held them average. I would say 8.510 is elite. So they were still able to throw the ball, but um, like I said, 8.5, that's pretty good. So that's definitely where the weakness is at in the secondary. They could stop the run really good. So the weakness on their defense is being able to stop the pass, bro. Fumbles, but Charles Smith had 2 fumbles, 2 returns. I mean, yeah, he had 2 fumbles for SMU. Rashard Smith, bro, played terrible. 2 fumbles, bro. Can't be doing that. And then as a defense, they had 1 sack, 6 tackles for loss, 4 pass deflections. So this game was very close. This was a very close football game, man. And Brashard Smith probably cost them with them fumbles, doing them turnovers. And it didn't help that their quarterback was also played way more terrible than BYU's quarterback. Two mid quarterbacks. BYU barely got more rushing, but they had 35 carries. SMU had 36 carries, but BYU was only at a 3.8 rushing. And but they were elite on passing the ball, so they were able to pass the ball, get more explosive plays. Um, and their defense compared to theirs, 8-6, 3-1, 4-5. So their defense played better, and they were better on special teams. Keelan Martin coming to play. So look, that's how you win football games. BYU did what they had to do that game. But versus Kansas State, BYU's definitely going to have to play better because this is a notch up in competition. So we about to check out this last game versus Arizona, dig into these statistics, and see what the heck went on this game. So this is Kansas State right here, man. Kansas State was absolutely amazing on third down versus Arizona. They got forced 13 third downs though, so you could get this team to be in the position to be able to give you the ball back on a punt. But they was converting more than they weren't. They were 1-on-1 on fourth down. They had 393 yards, 156 passing, 15 to 23 at a 6.8 average. So they're, you know, they ain't really they average throwing the ball. You know what I mean? That's not if it's not a 10, I'm gonna just call it average because 10 is elite. If it's under a 10, it's average. So 6.8 out of 156, that's average. Rushing the ball, they were able to run, but they was average rushing the ball. 3 of 20. So look, this team is very average running the ball and passing the ball. So but they're balanced. That's the thing. They're kind of good at both. So it makes them a little bit balanced. So they're a really, really balanced type team. Avery Johnson was 14 to 23, 2 touchdowns, 75.2 at a 6.8 average. 6.8 average, every yards per pass. Like I said, that's average. Avery Johnson was 17 carries, 110 yards at a 6.5. And DJ Giddens had 17 carries, 86 yards at a 5.1. So they was able to rush the ball for almost 6 yards an attempt. Um, I would say that's good, but that's not elite. Elite to me is probably like 8. 7 could be considered. I'll make 7 consider elite. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you can hit a 7, that means every time you run the ball, you gain at least 7 yards. But 6, come on, man. That 6 is average. So they was average. The running backs was average. The wide receivers had 11.1, man. That's elite. The wide receivers in this game, for them, they played really elite. Even though they had 156 yards on 14 receptions, it was still at 11.1. So they were able to throw the ball. I'm not saying they're going to be better than BYU passing the ball. I don't think they're better than BYU through the air. But like I said, they can run the ball. They got 2 backs almost clearing 100 yards apiece. So if they could just get 11.1, it's enough for them to blow teams out. That's what they're doing. Their defense had 4 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 3 pass breakups. So their defense is a really good defense. They shut this team down. Noah Fafita, a guy that I hyped up before the week, 26 of 42, 268 out of 6.4. That's what they held him to. 45.7 average. They could not run the ball. Arizona could not run the ball on them. Arizona did was able to throw the ball in the air. 10 at a 10.3 average, but they were at 26 attempts at a 10.3. Now that I would say that's an average because of how many attempts. So they had 26 receptions, but they got 268 yards off them 26 receptions at a 10.3 clip. At a 10.3 clip. So I would say that's pretty elite. I would say that they were able to be a little bit elite in the air. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest. Their receivers did a lot of production. I don't know what was McMillan was receivers dropping. I really don't know that. I don't know what happened, how he got this much production and didn't get a single touchdown from McMillan. Come on, man. McMillan is a baller, bro. You ain't even get a touchdown out of this guy. He was absolutely balling. He had 11 catches, 138 yards. So I don't even think this is a receiving room problem. I think this is a quarterback problem. I'm just being honest. I think this is a real quarterback problem, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's what I think, man. Um, 8 defense. But like I said, man, Kansas State, their defense outplayed Arizona defense, bro. And they had a pick. Arizona had no picks. Arizona had more tackle for loss. Nah, they ain't. Yeah, they did. And they had more sacks. So Arizona's defense had more tackles for loss and sacks than Kansas State. But Kansas State was just playing more efficient. They had more tackles, more solo tackles, less sacks, less tackles for loss. Now that's kind of scary because if you ain't getting to the ball, then kickoff returns. Dylan Edwards had one return for a touchdown. They was getting special team production. Like just a better overall balanced team. And like I said, going into this game versus BYU, man, BYU, they have shown that they could throw the ball in the air. But when they don't be able to throw the ball in the air, that's the question. Will they be able to get that run game going? Because that run game is going to have to play a hefty part in all of this. Because y'all ran for 5 yards rushing in this game, but in the game that y'all was close in and y'all was about to lose versus SMU, y'all ran for 3.8 rushing. So that's not really good. And these are two teams that does not have a defensive line like Kansas State. So that kind of worries me. But I know y'all gonna be able to get y'all's production through the air. Because that's one thing y'all have been doing is y'all have been getting a lot of air production, man, out of these two games, man. Y'all been at least almost averaging 13 yards every time y'all catch the ball. A lot of explosive plays. It seemed like y'all got 10 players in this receiving room that's explosive. God dang. One catch, 10 yards. One catch, 11 yards. One catch, 11 yards. One catch, 14 yards. Three catches, 17. Two catches, 22. Three catches, 27. Two for 30. Three for 36. Six for 129. So, man, he must be a good wide receiver, bro. But, yeah, man, y'all was getting a lot of explosive plays in that throwing the ball. And Jake, he played better this game. So, which Jake we gonna get? That's what it's gonna come down to. But like I said, if this Jake show up, it might be enough. He might need to go over a 10 average. I'm gonna be honest. Jake gonna have to raise his level of play. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Especially versus Kansas State, man. So man, I got Kansas State winning this game, man. I just think Kansas State is probably a better football team right now, more balanced football team. The rushing numbers for BYU concerns me. Even when they played an elite game, they weren't really able to run the ball great, I would say. But they played a really good game. So Kansas State, man, what they did to Arizona and Arizona's offense, even though Arizona was able to throw the ball a little bit, Kansas State completely shut down their rushing. And I believe that's what's going to happen in this game. I think Kansas State going to be able to shut down BYU's rushing. So man, I'll take Kansas State to win this game. BYU +7 cover. Nah, I think I got Kansas State -7. I'm gonna be honest. I think that's the bet. And yeah, man, it's your boy Houdini Magic, Slimy Hot Boy. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. I'm out. Peace.